Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Financial Focus with the one and only Delta Jones Walker of Atled Financial. Delta, it's that time.
It's that time again, girl. Just educating and sharing the information with our listening audience, which is so important.
Yes, happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month.
So you know we have to get our housekeeping duties out of the way. You do your disclaimer, and then we are going to jump into a juicy conversation about home ownership.
Okay, so securities and advisory services offered through Woodbury Financial Services, Inc., member of FINRA and SIPC Insurance, offered through Atled Financial Services at 717B Main Street, Schererville, Indiana, 46375, which is not affiliated with Woodbury Financial.
All right.
Okay.
So Delta, you know you have me following all the financial news.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that popped out that's trending, if you will, is the decline in the mortgage rates, in the interest.
The interest rates.
And we're in the middle of a pandemic, but folks are saying, you included, that it might be a decent time to buy a house if you have your ducks in a row. What say you?
This is the best time in the world right about now to buy a home.
Really?
I would really recommend people really sit down and start going over their numbers and become a homeowner instead of being a home renter.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you say go over their numbers, what are some of the things, because I always say if I could have done this over again,
Mm-hmm.
I would have bought a house a long time before I actually did.
Okay.
And so for somebody that's watching now that may be, a little younger, maybe in their 30s and 20s, on the fence, but these rates are ridiculously low,
They are.
what should they do?
First of all, you really need to assess the situation, because a lot of people say, no, I can't afford it. And my response to them is they can afford not. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it from this standpoint. You're paying $1,200 to $1,500 a month in rent, and you buy a home for $180,000, and your rate is between 2.9 and 4%. You're looking at a mortgage note, principal and interest of about $1,062.
Oh my
So
goodness.
you look at that 1,200, you multiply that. You subtract the 1,200 from the grand.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're looking at roughly about $200. $200 times 12, that's $2,400. $2,400, and you go times 10 years, you do the math. And I'm just looking at simple math.
Yes.
And so a lot of people might say, well, that's too far-fetched for me. I just want to look at the basic numbers, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want to do is we want to start building wealth.
Yes.
Financial planning is all about building wealth, and you have it within your budget
Mm-hmm.
to spend it already, because you're paying for your
That's
mortgage.
right.
You're paying your
Your
rent.
rent.
So you might as well pay yourself.
So I'm going to be transparent
Okay.
for
Let's
that
talk.
person who's watching this and no, I'm not ready for home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I go back and do the math
Uh-huh.
on how much I paid to live in the mansards, I thought I was jazzy.
Yes, you were
I
jazzy.
was
You
jazzy.
to the mansard.
To the mansards, I was really jazzy because I was paying, by that time, it was probably like maybe $600-700 a month,
for rent.
and they would go up every year.
Yes.
And what do I have to show from being over there?
Nothing.
A good time.
That's about it.
That's about it.
They loved you.
They did. And now can I just say that I'm paying less than that
Oh yeah.
for a house.
Mm-hmm. And so you have the ability to build equity.
Mm-hmm.
It is yours.
Mm-hmm.
You have property. You're increasing your wealth. You are putting money in your savings because you're not paying all of that to the mansard.
That's right.
Which gives you the ability to, you have no debt. You have very little debt. The debt that you do have is manageable because the additional dollars you're able to utilize and spend down your debt. You're able to increase your savings.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to increase your investments. So there's so many variables with this, and I just recommend to everyone, listen, don't look upon this as something that you need to have a fear for.
Mm-hmm.
You need to sit with an advisor to walk through your numbers. That's the first step. You need to sit down and go over your numbers. And you might say, well, I want to get myself ready before I go to the advisor. Okay, what do I need to do? The first thing you need to do is you need to get your checkbook or however you're paying your obligations, because you know people now swipe their debit card for rent. Okay,
we're cash apping people,
Yes.
all those things.
So you just need to sit down and look at what comes in every 2 weeks or every week or however your compensation comes in, and then you start deducting out your monthly obligations to see what's your bottom line at the end after all the deductions have been made. And you might, as you're going through, you might say, I cannot believe I spent money like that every day. I spend too much money eating out. It becomes a reality check because of the fact that you are looking at
It's
it on
in writing.
in writing, and you are tripping like, I can't believe that. And that's why I tell people a lot of times to get away from your debit card and just put cash in your wallet. And once you exhaust that cash in your wallet for the week, then
That's it. You cut yourself off.
You cut yourself off.
All right. So I'm sitting down with my financial advisor. I'm going over my budget, and I have, say, this wild idea that I want this huge, amazing home, but my numbers aren't adding up to that. So where do we go from there? Are we saving to get ready? Because my fear is these rates are so low during the pandemic. It's like, we need to hurry up and jump on this. So
yes, you do.
I don't know what it's going to look like, say, post-pandemic, a few months from now. So if somebody is really serious and say, okay, Delta, I'm here, my husband and I am looking to buy a home, what are some of the other things I need to do to get ready?
I would first say, after going over your budget, and yes, you have this big dream home that is your dream home that you are desiring, but you got to crawl before you can walk. So it's better to start with something. You stay there 2 to 5 years, take the equity out of that, and go into your next dwelling.
Okay.
But the takeaway here today, listening audience, is to start. Start somewhere. So if you're in a apartment now, and you say, okay, where do I go? I don't want to mow grass. I don't want to do any of that. Okay, then maybe you should go to a condo. But just know you're going to have an association fee that you will be also adding into your monthly expenditures. If you say, no, I don't want to do that, I don't mind mowing grass. Okay, well then maybe you want to look at a townhome. But you want to find wherever your level is, you want to sink yourself into that level of that comfort, because you feel a little uneasy going from renting to buying.
Home ownership. There's one thing that happened with me when I got my home, and it's going on up, I want to say almost 15 years ago. And I was single, but getting ready, kind of on the verge of getting married. And it was only after I got married that my siblings fessed up, that they kind of preferred, they were okay with me being in an apartment because I was by myself. And they were like, well, we don't want you in that big old house by yourself. So, you know, those are some of the things that kind of put a hindrance, I would say, on maybe ladies or single people who may have a fear of taking that leap by themselves. But now that I look back on it, I say when you do your research, go ahead and get in the neighborhood that's safer or whatever your concerns are. But don't delay this. If I could have done this at 25, I would have done it. I would have been finished.
Listen, yes, your home would be paid for.
Yes.
It would be done. From that point, you would say, am I going to get
another
home?
One? Or
am I going to buy some rental property? What am I going to do? Because I have this extra cash and I am doing just what I need to do, and I'm comfortable for my retirement as well as my investment portfolio. I have this extra cash. What do I do with it? So,
well, I'm trying to help somebody else.
Yes.
How about that? You're helping us.
Yes.
So, the down payment piece. How important is that? Sometimes, you know, with your credit score, does it have an impact on to say, well, you don't have to put as much because your credit score is here, or does it depend on the cost of the home? How does that work?
Well, normally they tell you in today's times that you can do 3% down, 5% down. I've seen some people come to me and say, Delta, I got a 0% down. And I'm just like, really?
Really?
And I said, okay, what was your credit score? And they would say, between 725 and 750. So it just really depends on the programs that's out there. So my recommendation is that you do your research and you start searching to see what programs are out there. But don't let anyone pull your credit, because that inquiry is something that's going to stay on your report, and it hurts.
Okay, every time you do it.
Every time that you do it. So you don't want to go to several different lenders and pull several different times, because now it's starting to lower your credit report, your credit rating.
Okay.
So you want to be very mindful. So you do your homework to see, what are you offering? What's your terms? How much is your down payment? What are the requirements? What is it that I need? Because every lender is different.
Okay.
And once they tell you that, then you say, okay, I would recommend, if you feel comfortable with the person that you spoke with, that you get their number, if they have an ID number, if they have a direct dial, so you don't have to go over your story all over again. You can dial right into that individual. And so you do, you're kind of window shopping, what they say back in the day. And you're window shopping to see what particular lender out there can provide you with terms that you feel are favorable for you, and at the same time the interest rate is an interest rate that you feel comfortable with.
And right now, real comfortable.
And the amount that is required of you as your down payment, that is something that you're comfortable with as well. So a lot of people say, well, I don't have a down payment, so I gotta wait. Well, if you have a retirement account, you can go and borrow against your retirement account. If you don't have a retirement account that have loan provisions, you can always take the money out of your IRA and not be penalized because of the fact this is the first time that you're purchasing a home.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's a new stipulation that they have enacted in the law, that you're able to utilize your IRA for first-time home ownership. So you just want to sit and you want to just do your homework first, but don't say what you cannot do because of the fact that you don't have the dollars. If you have dollars but they're put up somewhere, retirement, then yes, you're able to utilize that if this is your first-time home ownership.
And I want to emphasize, Delta, that this is an investment.
It is.
So many times we feel like, well, I want to move here, I want to move there, and I want to just move around, and I'm not worried about being attached to something. But when we talk about building wealth, which we talk about so often,
every month,
legacy, yes, this really stood out to me in your latest article. By the way, make sure you pick up the latest article in the Crusader by Delta that talks about home ownership. Now, everybody doesn't build or buy new. So another aspect of your article, you talk about being prepared for those things that come with home ownership. We're watching right now in the midst of all these storms where pipes are bursting, roofs are collapsing. So, there's one thing to have the down payment, Delta, but to thine own self be true, you want to have that mental and that emergency, that nest egg that says, okay, we want to redo the kitchen, or okay, what's that, a leak? Those types of things. And they come with home ownership. I'm just here to say it, but when you least expect it.
When you are signing your paperwork, your mortgage, your realtor will also suggest to you that you may want to purchase home warranties. They're becoming more common in the purchase of home ownership. And so with the home warranty, it's things like if the furnace break down, if there's an issue with the roof, if there's an issue with the electric, it's in the homeowner contract. Even I've seen contracts that have the dishwasher as well as the refrigerator in that warranty.
Nice.
And it's not for a long period of time, but maybe like for 36 months. So that gives you the opportunity to get in the home and get settled, just in case something breaks. It's not like you're like, I just moved in and it's breaking and I gotta go out and buy, and I'm already doing this house gig and this is just too much. You don't have to get yourself in I guess she's a
yeah.
tizzy,
Yes.
saying, "Oh my God, how am I going to get this accomplished?" Because of the fact that you purchased the home warranty.
These are some great tips. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I am talking to my friend and my financial advisor, Delta Jones Walker of Atled Financial, located right here in Cherville, Indiana. But she's licensed in what, 19, 21 states?
21.
21. Get it right, Chelsea, where she can help you, and she's working with clients virtually in this environment. There are people who are watching that already own their home. So I have to ask this question on our behalf. With the mortgage rates dipping like they did, again, I thought I was jazzy with my little 6.2, and now it's like 2.88. What are your thoughts around refinancing?
I would recommend that you sit with someone and go over the numbers, and if it works out to be beneficial to you, you might want to take advantage of it and not only refinance, but you keep the same amount of money that you were spending on a monthly so you can pay your home off sooner.
Whoa, so like kind of doubling up on it?
Kind of doubling up. So, if you have a 30-year mortgage and you can refinance, and opposed to you paying $1,000, now you're able to pay $725. Well, that additional $275, you might say, hey, I want to continue to pay that. What can it do for me? And they might come back and say, well, if you pay that amount, then opposed to you having this mortgage for another 22 years, you can have your mortgage for 13 years or 15 years.
That sounds incredible. So those of you who are watching, either if you're a homeowner or you're thinking about it, take a look at these mortgage rates, sit down and talk to a professional. And I had one other question around refinancing and the principal versus what I hear people talking about, interest only, principal only loans where they pay on that. What is that all about?
So they're paying on the principal only for a period of time, or they're just paying on the interest only for a period of time. But you don't want to get yourself caught up in that, because what are the grounds for you to say that I want to just have an interest only loan? Why are you saying I'm just paying towards the principal? What is going on? What was the conversation around that? Okay. So you want to be very clear and understanding everything that is going on, because you don't want to get caught into a situation whereas now you're in a catch-22. You need to come up with all this money. You have a time frame to come up with it, and if you don't, you lose your dwelling, and you've been paying this loan for a long period of time.
More great information. The last thing I want to touch on with you, Delta, is how we go about selecting our financial advisor. We talk about this all the time.
Yes, we do.
How serious are we about our stylist, your barber, your nail tech, everybody else? We're like, I have to have the same person, and I have to seek them out. I have to get recommendations. I have to see their work. Shouldn't that apply when we're talking about our financial advisor?
That should. And what you should do is, just like you go to a barber and let them cut your hair, and you either like it or you don't, you should do the same with a financial advisor. And I tell people all the time, schedule an appointment, a complimentary consultation, so you can see exactly how the vibe is going with you and that financial advisor. And if you feel as though that financial advisor cannot help you or is not willing to help you, then that right there is your strike to say, okay, this was interview 1, let me go to my next one for interview 2.
Yes.
And just keep that process until you find the person that you and that individual, he or she, have connected the dots, and you feel that this would be a perfect fit.
Well, I want to tell everybody, personally, I have found my person. And whomever you select, you have to be prepared to be transparent. Hiding financial information from your financial advisor does you no good. He or she will, they're supposed to, and she does, keep your confidence. So if you have some things going on and you come in and share, well, I lost my job, or I didn't get that raise that I thought I was going to get, or this is how much I have in the bank, this is how much I want to put down on my house, I'll never hear that again, right?
No.
It's what we talked about. And so as you are searching for a financial advisor, I'm obviously endorsing Delta, but we're just sharing tips on how you want to connect with someone who's going to talk with you and not at you, and is working for your good and not just working for some type of commission. So again, a consultation with you, how do they go about that?
They can call the 1-800-638-4866 number, or they can visit us on Facebook, Twitter, or they can go to Atled's website, which is www.atledfinancial.com, and just type in the search engine that you're looking to have a complimentary consultation with the financial advisor, and we can schedule you from that point. If you're here local, you can dial the 219-513-3710, call in the office, schedule your appointment, and we'll go from there. You know, with the pandemic, we are still working. We work every day, and we are having appointments face-to-face, as well as Zoom, as well as teleconference.
All right, so let me recap to all of you out here, because there was great information for us all. Whether you're a homeowner or you're thinking about buying a home, now's the time to do your research. Those mortgage rate interests are super low. Refinance, purchase an additional home. Maybe it's time to talk about our summer home. We'll talk offline on that. But I want to thank you, Delta, for always being filled with great information. Please follow her on social media. She posts financial tips every day. And we also talk on our leisure time about the stock market and how you want to get involved in investing and exploring, because again, it's all about wealth building and leaving a legacy. Thanks again, Delta. I'll see you back here next month for our next financial focus. And until then, everybody be safe.
All right, take care.